Number 4. All right, the playing area of a pool table used in a professional tournament is 50 inches by 100 inches. Determine the playing area of the pool table. So keyword, area. All right, pool table is just a rectangle. Dimensions are 50 inches by 100 inches. So let's say 50 and 100. All right, now area, remember, is the space inside. Well, if I want to find the area of a rectangle, you can kind of think of your formula. It's just length times width. But in general, it's just the number of square units inside. So really, area is basically just a multiplication problem. That's all you're doing. So you're saying you've got 50 squares going this way, 100 squares going this way. So 100 times 50. That's all you're doing. But that's the length times the width, and that's going to show you how many total squares inside, which is what area means. All right, so let's take 100 times 50. So we've got a total area of 5,000. All right, now paying attention to units again, this was inches. So because I'm doing area, that means it's going to be square inches, which some people write it that way. You may see it with inches with a little squared on it, means the same thing. All right, number 5, we've got a square-shaped garden, has a side of 6 feet. Now, notice they're only telling me one dimension, but that's because it's a square, right? So that's really all you need. In a square, we know that all the sides are the same. So we have 6 by 6. All right, we want to know what is the area, so same idea. We're just doing length times width, so 6 times 6 for a total area of 36 units. This is feet, so that means it's going to be square feet for area. Number 6, we've got a square garden, has a side of 22 meters. Okay, so it's a square. Side is 22, so that means my dimensions are 22 by 22. How many meters of fence are needed to enclose the garden? So notice they're not giving me a perimeter or an area word, but they're telling me we're putting fence around this square. So the idea of fencing, that's going around the outside of the shape, which means I'm going to focus on perimeter. All right, I need all my sides, but it's a square, so that means they're all 22. So you can do your traditional perimeter, add all sides, right? 22 plus 22 plus 22 plus 22, but shorthand, 22 times 4, right? It means exactly the same thing. So that means I'm going to have a perimeter of 88 units. This was meters, and it's just perimeter, so it stays meters. All right, now this is kind of a more real application. So we're looking at cost. We're going to have to talk about sales tax, all right? Things that you really need to pay attention to when you're actually doing this. So Miss Roberts wants to tile the floor in her kitchen. So think about what that is. Tile on the floor. Her kitchen is rectangular and has dimensions of 15 feet by 11 feet. So if you're putting tile on the floor, that is covering the space of the floor, so that's area. All right, it's a rectangle. Dimensions are 15 by 11. And area, so we're just doing length times width. So I'm just going to do 15 times 11. So my total area is going to be 165. This is feet, so that is square feet. All right, each square foot of tiling costs $1.09. So each one is $1.09. Well, we need 165 of them. So let's multiply. 165 times $1.09. So write in your calculator. So we're looking at a price of $179.85. All right, part C. Now we're looking at sales tax. So think about what we're doing with sales tax. It's 8%. So sales tax says you're going to pay 8% of whatever that cost is on top of what you're already paying for the materials. Well, I first need to figure out, well, what is 8%? Okay, now we're going to work more with decimals and percents in a little bit, but 8%, you're going to take that and you're going to change it to a decimal. That's how we're going to figure out this percentage. So all we're doing is changing that to 0.08. Now, this is one of those kind of common daily skills that a lot of people do understand about percentages and decimals, but if you are confused about it, we're going to do some more of that in a little bit, okay? So basically, it's just moving your decimal point. All right, so if I want to figure out 8% of this, if you remember that key word of just means multiply. So we're going to take 179.85 and we're going to multiply it by 0.08. Okay, so that's going to tell us 14.388 in the calculator. Now, this is money, okay? So I know that 14.388, well, that We're going to work on rounding today too, if this confuses you at all. That's going to take that 8 and just bump it up. So this is really just $14.39. So again, sales tax, that's adding on. So let's take that $14.39 and we're going to have to add it on to the price of the materials. So $179.85 plus $14.39. Add that on. And we're looking at a total price then of $194.24. All right, so that's your area and your perimeter. I'm going to pause there and pick up on the next video with integer rules.